Hello, Mover.
Hello.
Hello, CASMO.
Hello.
Sad panda. Don't be sad panda. Be happy panda.
What? Wait, who's
What?
the panda?
CASMO. He's like,
I'm the panda?
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. We need that helicopter, that big whirly bird energy.
I'm sort of sick, so I'm not high energy.
Is it the Rona?
Who knows?
Whatever. COVID 2024. Whatever the
Seasonal
newest-
sniffles.
Seasonal allergies. Well, welcome. We're glad to have you, as always.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
it's
we
been a
missed
while.
you. I missed you last time because I
That's
had
right.
a computer that was Tango uniform.
Yeah, but you got it fixed now. You said
I
get
do.
your VR rocking.
VR rocking, ready to. We need to
Are we
do some helicoptering.
Yeah, I'm here all week.
What do you like? Tip your waitress?
That's right. The 10 o'clock show is completely different from the 8 o'clock show.
As it should be.
As it should be. Gonky, how you doing, man? Missed you this weekend.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good, man. Did you get your? I left a whole bunch of squadron stuff in your office.
Yeah, I burned that picture.
You did,
Set
right?
it right on fire. And use it for target practice. But I got a mug or whatever this is, thermos.
Yeah.
Look, dude. Look at how much merch. We're like it's like Spaceballs. Look, you've got 3 levels of patch right here. You've got this little jacket. You've got the mug now, and then you got the Christmas tree ornament.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Merchandising.
Christmas tree ornaments.
That's
Jesus.
right. 2025.
Next level.
we're revamping the merch.
The Christmas tree is not for sale.
Yeah. Well, after December, it's kind of we won't get much
Clearance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
clearance. Feel like 99%
Awesome.
off.
And Doug, you made it back, I think.
So far, so good.
Welcome back. That was a fast reboot.
Yeah, well, I got that problem fixed, I think.
My computer issues were transmitted to Douglas, who is now having his own issues. But hey, we got a show today. It might not be the best, but we got a show.
There is a show.
A show will occur.
Yeah.
It's Monday. It's not Sunday this time. Oh, how was your cousin Eddie trip, Gonky? The one you made us. It's been 8 days since we've had a show, so you got a lot to tell us about.
No, it was awesome. I went down to Tampa, visited my brother, got to see my new niece, and yeah, it was a good trip. Whole family came down. My parents came down from Ohio, and we camped out, had a good time, enjoyed a little bit of southern Florida. Got back Thursday, went to 1 day of drill on Friday.
Allegedly. And you got your dash fixed.
Yeah, I got my truck fixed, thankfully. It's pretty amazing. Yeah, circuit board medics, they do some good work. 1 day turnaround. But yeah, I got that fixed, man. Went to drill and then here at the house. It's been a really busy week, but a good week. So I am sad I missed drill, mainly because then the Mover and Gonky show couldn't be co-located. It's always fun.
Where were you at in Tampa?
On north side.
Okay.
They call it like New Tampa up there.
Yeah, I'm from Tampa, so that's why.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Yeah. In fact, I was just there. We flew in a couple of days ago. We were only there for like an hour and a half, getting ready to turn, and then we flew over to like Fort Lauderdale or something. And so where I grew up kind of south part of Tampa, but there was this little hole in the wall place that makes the best Cuban sandwiches in the universe, and I swear to God. And so we're on the schedule to go to Tampa, and I tell the guy I'm flying with, I'm like, "Do you like Cuban sandwiches?" He's like, "No, not really." I was like, "You're going to eat one anyway. I'm ordering them." So we're in flight heading to Tampa from like Teterboro, and I'm doing the Uber Eats. I'm getting sandwiches delivered like 45 minutes to the FBO at Tampa International. I'm contacting the FBO. I'm like, "Look, I've got a special order. Please take care of it. Do not let it get taken by another flex crew, because sometimes that happens with our catering." And and he was like, "This is actually a pretty good sandwich." I was like, "Thank you very much."
So it's still there. What's it called?
Oh, yeah.
What's it called?
It's a little place called Silver Ring. It's in Riverview, which is a suburb. That's where I grew up. But my parents just moved away from there this past summer, and that made me sad because it's like, well, I'll never get silver ring again. So it was exciting for me, and I billed it all to the company card too. So thanks, folks.
Good, man. No, I'm heading back down there end of January, so maybe I'll swing by. This time I will go through Tampa, so maybe I'll swing by.
Yeah, do it. Yeah,
Awesome. Well, all right. In the news, Gonky has credit for one of our previous guests has been nominated for NASA. We have an article for this because that's as far as it is.
That's as far.
Trust me, bro.
We would just like
This
to
is
take
us.
full responsibility for
Full
the-
credit.
Yeah, sorry,
Credit.
credit.
Gonky would like to take full and total credit for the fact that we had a guest on our show
Yes,
and he's now going to run NASA.
yes. So,
But Gonky does not want to go to space still.
no.
Mover
No.
would go to space.
But what
So-
this means, CASMO, is this means good things for you because apparently people come on our show and they go places. So
I just can't wait to find out what's happening for me.
yeah,
Trump's probably going to nominate me for something the way things are going. So who knows? I'll be the
Well,
secretary
he
of
did promise to
Education.
throw
Of the
all
Army.
all the fat
Yeah, of the
Amy's
Army.
into the ocean and make me a 5-star general. I
That's
don't know if
right.
you remember that.
and the
Gonky.
SR-71's coming back, Mover.
And the SR-71's coming back.
So-
We got to find that audio clip.
Oh, that was genius, man. One of the one
It's
of our
gone.
listeners made it, man.
Yeah, AI is so incredible
Oh yeah, dude, it's funny.
and scary at the same time.
Yeah.
It is super scary.
Speaking of scary
stuff.
things, segues. See how I do the segues? We smoothly transition.
Smoothly.
Well, until you mention it, but yes, it was smooth.
Well, like
when you draw
Gonky,
attention to it, it's-
like Gonky, I like to take credit for
right.
all the things. So this one right here is here we go. I'm gonna share my screen. I probably should have been ready for this before I hit play. So New Jersey, the northeastern seaboard, is that what they call themselves? Those people up there have had quite a few unidentified aerial phenomena. Do, 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 do. And
It's the moon.
they have shared a video. One of the news anchors shared it of these anomalous creatures. CASMO, you might even recognize this because I think you've been to this planet. Here we go.
So close and it's going so. Look at it.
Oh my God, it's a
Oh, wow.
helicopter.
Oh,
There it is.
brother.
It's so close and it's going so. Look at it.
More large drone sighting. This one recorded over media. I've heard helicopters be called a lot of things, but drone is a little insulting, don't you think, CASMO?
Yeah. I mean, well, is that a helicopter drone? I don't know. I can't tell.
No, it's like a AW-169 from
That's
the New Jersey State Police.
Well, if it's well, if it's the aliens, man, at least they have their strobes and nav lights on.
Yeah, it's good of them to, acclimate to FAA regulations.
I mean, if you're
Feds will
gonna
get you no
transponder
matter where
codes.
you go. Yeah.
if you're gonna try to blend in, with us lowly Earthlings,
Yeah,
let's
do they
put
check
lights on these things.
They check in with center.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they get stuck behind the Southwest 737 on the star.
Right. Yeah.
Ah,
One
God,
of the ride
no.
reports.
Yeah, yeah.
Go.
Dude, I don't know what I was stuck behind the other day. We were leaving Toronto for somewhere in Florida. I think maybe it was going to Tampa. I don't know what we were stuck behind, but we were just plotting. They were like, "Can you go to 0.76?" And we're always at like 80. And we're like, "Oh!" So we rolled it back. We're like, "Can we go higher? Like, what is ahead of us?" It took us like 10 minutes to catch up to him. I was like looking over the nose, trying to figure out what it was.
Probably some American guy on a premium trip. He's like, "Let's slow her down."
Yeah, so we're
Slow her down.
You mean
a little bit.
Delta?
Or Delta.
Here's another one. Another New Jersey drone sighting. He left the
enhance. My God.
The aliens are flying Airwolf.
Dude,
There
they're
you
beaming.
go.
Hey, they're beaming something up or down.
Cattle. Cattle. They're anally probing cattle right there.
15 minutes hovering in the air. Now it's leaving.
Going back to the home, to the lair.
Again,
Are they
I mean,
really asserting that these are like not helicopters?
Drone. New Jersey drone sighting. Promise not a helicopter. Been around them my whole life. It's a large drone. It makes the
Promise you.
wop, 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 wop
I
noise.
love it. I promise you, I've been around it. I love
Yeah.
those guys.
Maybe
Internet's
the
full of 'em.
aliens have figured out a new propulsion system using a rotor blade and like a gas turbine, potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if we can figure it out, they can't.
Yeah, they get the whole faster than light travel down pat, but then when they get here, they're like, "Hey, boys, what do you guys
What's
do
that
for
right?
hovering?
Yeah.
What's your
Silly gravity. We can't. Ugh.
yeah?"
No, you guys
We-
had that here.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, I mean, any alien spacecraft with nav lights and strobe lights, probably man-made.
What was
Yeah.
it? What did they say in the Navy, Gonky? If you see red,
Red, right, returning, right? Is that it?
right, return.
Green, red, you're dead, right?
Yeah,
Red, right, returning. Yeah.
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 That's all
basic.
I really remember. Yeah.
It's
I don't know.
basic stuff. Well,
Still
so
use it every day.
the problem with this is like there's a lot of these people that are like now filming all of the air traffic because we're all like it's idiocracy, right? Everybody's like, oh my god, they're up there, and that's fine because social media allows us to make fun of them. But the problem I have is there's a former KC-10 guy that I follow. It's like 737 Wrangler or something, and he was talking. He posted somebody's tweet or X or whatever they call it now of threatening chemtrailers. He's like, kill me an airline pilot I see that's chemtrailing out there. Them guys, they ain't gonna do that to me and mine. And so that we're just a step away from people popping off rounds at airliners.
Well, it's already happening, right?
Yeah.
It is
No, I think we're already there, dude.
In Haiti.
I mean,
You think that's
we're
what the
certainly getting
problem is?
lazed.
No,
I've
in
been
Texas.
lazed.
Texas, right?
Yeah.
That was on the
Texas.
ground. That was on the ground when you could tell it
Oh,
was
was
a
it?
7.3. I'm talking UAPs
Yeah.
popping off rounds because, which by the way,
Yeah.
just hear me out for a second. If they are aliens, we watched the documentary Independence Day. You don't shoot at them. They actually
No.
said that on the news. You don't shoot at them.
Yeah.
They
that's
will
right.
laze you.
Yeah.
Yeah, if
And
they
we
can
know-
travel that far, they can figure out where you are when you shoot at them. Yeah, don't shoot at them.
Yeah, let's be
Yeah.
friends with the
Do,
alien
do you
race.
believe in aliens, though?
I believe in
Gonky
love.
says no.
No.
Well, how can you not? But okay, Gonky says no. Mover's not committed.
I believe it's
Are
a
you
big
surprised?
universe, but I don't believe that the aliens are among us.
Sure,
I think that's
that's
unlikely.
fair. Yeah,
Like they're probably out there somewhere, just not here.
Yeah.
What about you, Casmo? Are you are you Mulder?
I don't want to say anything now. So let's talk about those segues.
Do you have a sighting? Were you probed?
Well, listen,
You're in the army.
we don't kink shame on my show,
We
so
don't
I don't know
kink
what this is here. But,
Valid.
but yes, I actually did see something that I cannot account for many moons ago, in the desert. So it was in Fort Irwin, California, which is outside Las Vegas, which is so near Area 51. So that might explain it. But I absolutely saw something that I cannot describe, and I wasn't the only one that saw it. But you know how you can see a satellite in the sky, right? Like just looks like a star, but it's hauling ass.
Mhm.
So one of my Joes, we were waiting to get on a plane to go home after NTC, and I'm sitting in a chair, and he's sitting on the ground, and he's looking past me, and he goes, "What is that?" And I look up, and I see a satellite. I'm like, "Oh, that's a satellite." And no shit, as soon as I said that, it turned 90 degrees and went
So
a
it
different
heard you.
direction. And then it turned again and went. And meanwhile, there was like an airliner going over, so you could see it just kind of plodding along. So you got like a reference of speed, but this dot was moving like a satellite, but I swear to God, it turned 90 degrees. So I don't know what it was.
Were you at Dallas? Like
No, I was in Irwin, so it's near Nellis.
because that
Yeah.
sounds just like somebody going cold on a intercept.
Dude,
20,000.
if they turned the way that this thing turned, like
Like it was like that.
like a hardcore 90-degree turn, and then did it again at speeds that again was like a satellite moving through the sky.
Well, helicopter
So-
guys, everything looks fast.
But
Well, that's
Cas,
fair.
Cosmos, I don't believe in him, but like, watching all of Fravors footage and stuff, like I can't explain it. Because I have I have lots of time staring at the displays with the FLIR and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that's,
Sure.
I can't explain that.
I mean, the only thing that turns me off to the whole thing is like these things can travel all this way, but then they keep crashing. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's like they haven't figured out the landing part yet, but everything
Spatial
else is totally
D.
fine.
Spatial, dude, they get it at night IMC, CASMO, and I mean,
They've
come
not
on.
rated.
They're
Yeah,
not
they don't have the
rated.
lights on.
That's why they started turning all the lights on so that they can see.
That's probably it.
Yeah, in
But,
space, you don't
um,
have to worry about hitting the ground, right? I mean,
Yeah,
you're-
like, yeah. Who put a planet here?
yeah,
Anyway.
exactly. Elevation changes will get
I
you.
feel like they're just teasing us, though. If that's the case, just show up and say hi. Like at this point,
know-
you're being rude.
That's right.
Everybody has like a super high def like iPhone camera thing, like and every picture's like grainy, like
Sure.
or a straight up helicopter like we just saw. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
No, I know. That's I just statistically speaking, there are aliens. I mean, if you just there's a website you can go to where you can put in like, okay, if there's only a 0.1% chance of all the known planets that there's aliens on them, and it pops up with like, oh, there's 700, aliens. So I mean, statistically, it's true, but are they here? I don't know. But whatever I saw was weird, and it's stuck with me to this day. 20 years later, 24 years later.
Wow.
The truth is out there.
I want to believe.
That would be cool. I mean, I'd like to be homies with some aliens.
Hmm.
You know,
Well,
if they were cool aliens,
Yeah,
they were anally probing type. No.
again, mover. They made a movie about this.
they made a lot of movies. I mean, look at Star Trek.
Trek.
Track. Star
Did you
Trek.
say, did you say Star Trek?
You Star
He's a
Trek.
He's a
It's like
tracker.
you got to be a Trekkie.
Tracky. They're always fighting in them Star Wars.
Yeah, the Star Wars and the Star Trek.
Go see a Star Wars.
Gonky, don't act like you've never been in the South.
I live in the South, man.
Wrestling, Star
Yeah,
Trek.
wrestling. Oh yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
That's probably going to get you the most hate mail you've ever got.
Calling it Star Trek. I'm working on. I'm trying to. I mean, once you've had one death threat, pretty much everything goes.
Yeah, CASMO, you know that, right? He got it.
I got a death threat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me
They
more.
said
I'm
soon,
listening.
but it's
Yeah.
still
Soon.
like, that was-
Soon.
Aren't you a
Soon
little
TM.
jealous? He's like that popular to
Yeah.
porn?
it was a few weeks
I've
ago.
been
so
shot
it's
once.
like-
I'm good.
Yeah.
What? It was a couple weeks ago.
yeah, on the
Tell me
mover
more.
mailbag.
Tell me
You
more
said,
about it.
Mover, we're going to kill you so soon.
We.
Yeah. And then it said
That was
Slava
it?
Ukraine at the end, which I'm sure that wasn't, that's a misdirection.
Sure. Was it cut out of magazine like letters? Like,
no,
glued
it was
together?
just they
No.
used the form on my website.
So
Yeah.
that's lazy.
Well, they came up with a very creative email that I can never repeat on this channel because we will get demonetized.
Oh yeah. It pretty much hit all the
All the slurs, every
Oh.
slur you can think of,
yes. At
worse than
gmail.com.
anything you can imagine.
Yes.
All the bad words.
Yeah,
all
yeah.
the bad words.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Probably some mean people.
No,
Anyway.
I don't regret not having that.
all right. Do we have anything from the audience yet? Yes, we do. Ethor.
Yeah.
Evening, gentlemen. I hope all is well. CASMO, I'm 20 minutes away from FlexJet's global headquarters at Cuyahoga County. Is that how you say it?
Cuyahoga.
Cuyahoga County.
That's the joke, is if you have to go up there and meet with the chief pilot, you get in trouble, is you have to fly the Cuyahoga 6 arrival to go see the boss. Yeah, I was just up there a couple days ago. I've flown in there a few times.
Okay.
And people threw up all over the plane.
Oh no.
You need to be
Yeah.
smooth.
We don't clean that up. That's...
Yeah. Do you sling bags? Have you slung a bag yet?
Oh yeah.
Do you,
But it's not like, I mean, generally speaking, like you only have like one or two people on board, so you use like one bag or two bags. But every now and then, yeah, you get the family of 6 coming back from Bahamas, and it's like
all
here's
their ski
everything. And
gear.
you're like, awesome, great, let's do it. But yeah, whatever.
Swimsuit shouldn't weigh this much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're overweight. We're gonna have to leave all this stuff here.
Yeah.
So
Go skinny dipping, damn it. Stop bringing all this stuff.
I've brought so much stuff on the plane before that these people showed up one time and they had all this art. It was like boxed up and stuff. And we just looked at it. We're like, oh my God, like that's not going to fit in the cargo hold. So like we had it in like the passenger area. They were like keeping it upright. I was like, no stress here. This art's probably more valuable than me, but I'll do my best. We didn't break
That's
anything.
awesome.
So Gronky, this is from Old Paint. You're saying that Isaacman came on the show and is now trying to get so far away he's joining NASA. It's rude.
I don't know about the so far
It's
away
rude.
part, but
Rude.
You're rude.
Be nice. It's Christmas.
yeah, I'm dude. Listen, he came on the show. Now he's running NASA. You draw the correlation. I don't know.
Come to your own conclusions.
Yeah, come to your own conclusions. Come
Robert says CASMO, just dudes.
Just
on. That's right.
what was I
Yeah,
remember that, but I
what
don't
was
remember
it?
that.
What
You know,
is this?
you
What are
asked
we
me,
talking
like,
about?
No,
This was
yeah.
from when you weren't there. This is an inside joke.
Of
between me and
course.
Gonky.
I'm always the third
Um,
wheel. Doug did this to me the other
Was it-
day on the Twitch stream.
I think
No.
Gonky asked me if I'd shot anything,
Was it-
like
I think-
a vehicle or something with hellfire. I was like, nah, just
Yeah,
dudes.
that's right. That's right. Just dudes.
Just dudes. I need to make that as a shirt, maybe, but
Yeah.
it may not translate. So I don't know if I should do
Merchandise.
that.
You could have a
Merchandise.
mug.
You
You
can
could
Come
have
up
a
with an image
thermos,
to go with it.
a Christmas
Yeah, it needs an
ornament.
image because just dudes is not going to work for me.
Yeah.
You could have an ornament
mean,
that
maybe
says
it
just
will.
dudes,
Low level hell. Just dudes. That
Just
sounds a
dudes.
little weird.
only dudes.
Just
You could
dudes.
call it only dudes.
Only dudes.
Off the rails, mover.
Oh, crap.
Oh,
Just
I'm getting
dudes.
fired from all of my jobs. Wicked Spider Black says 3 or more they've flown or over a military RD. Whenever 3 or more gather, and I'm just looking at his thing. It's like when 3 or more have gathered in my name, military RD will occur. Like what? I don't know what we're saying here. Aliens, probably.
UAPs
Aliens.
or
Yeah.
what's an RD?
Research and development, maybe.
Okay.
Very military.
Robert Downey Jr.
There's no J.
Incorrect.
RD, or just
Robert
Robert Downey,
Downey?
the father,
God.
senior.
Robert Downey Sr.
What in tarnation says UFO pilot? I have a number for you to call.
Oh, that's funny.
Possible
Any-
pilot deviation.
That's right.
Well, are they pilots or like operators at that point?
Who knows?
Dude, who knows?
I mean, if you have the technology, I would like to think it flies itself.
Yeah.
Like if you got your way over here, it's better than Tesla self-driving.
But they don't have auto throttles. It's weird.
But like CASMO said, they keep crashing into mountains.
That there's something wrong. Yeah.
There wasn't even a
something's not right.
mountain at Roswell. It's just the ground.
Ground.
There you go.
Well, they ran into a weather balloon.
Oh. That's why the Raptors are preemptively shooting them down to await their arrival.
So
To
get away
Clear
with
the
herald
it.
airspace.
Yeah, to clear the airspace for the mothership so it doesn't get taken out by a weather balloon. or
When
a
I was in
tiny
high
spy
school, I had
balloon.
I was an Air Force Junior ROTC, and our instructor was an F-16 pilot, and he
Hell
had
yeah.
1 kill to his name, and he shot down a balloon over the Atlantic.
Really?
Sort of, yeah, some sort of balloon or something had gotten loose. Yeah,
Gun?
There was-
Missile?
No, it had to be missile, right?
I think it was a missile. This was forever ago. So
'Cause there were-
90s.
When we were talking about the Raptor kill, everybody kept bringing up the Canadian attempt to shoot down the weather balloon that had gone rogue, and they could not shoot it down with the gun because they would shoot it and it would just like, okay, just start descending slowly. But
Right.
2,000 miles later, they finally found it crash somewhere
Hmm.
because the bullets don't do anything. It's impervious.
Hmm.
That's probably why Fat Amy doesn't have a gun, because they know in the war against weather balloons,
Useless.
not needed.
Yeah. Go back. I don't think we covered that last comment.
Oh, crap.
Was there?
There was a UFO
Oh.
in Australia comment. No.
Research and development. Okay, hold on,
No.
hold on.
The
hold
next
on.
one.
Hold on. What?
There you go.
This one? This one? This one.
Yes. there.
Kangi. Hey, fellas, speaking of UAPs, thanks for keeping us honest, Cosmo. I appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Well,
Look
that's what
up
I
the
do.
row UFO.
Just dudes and honesty.
Many reports near me. Thanks to it, UFO in the case stands for useless flying object. Dude, there is no chance I would get in that.
That looks like some Mad Max shit right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, wood prop.
That's
I-
like that little BD-5 jet, that's like it seats a half a person, but it's a jet, and everybody's like, "Mover, you should get one." Like, Mover should not.
No.
There's
the
no chance.
microjet. It's a microjet, right? Is that what they call
No
it?
chance. No chance, battles. Let's see. Well, I guess I'm just going to do this. D-Stu says, I think there are UFOs reported by pilots, but these more than likely are drones flown by the military. The next weapons used in war. U.S. has to practice somewhere. You
Maybe.
think that, but the U.S. government is so entrenched in bureaucracy that it would be unlikely that they would just be flying around the civilian airspace willy-nilly.
Yeah.
They would be off probably where CASMO saw his alien.
That's why we have the Middle East.
Yeah.
CASMO's alien.
Yeah. That's where Alpha was hanging
We
out.
shall call him Alf. Dude. Yeah.
Give me a cut.
For some reason he likes
Yeah,
cats.
give me a cat.
Found him in Ohio for some reason. I don't know. Aaron says CASMO and Wombat know where the aliens are. There you go.
Only the desert.
Prove it.
See, Wombat keeps that cloak secrecy, though. You don't. You just came right out with it,
I don't give a shit.
which now no one will harass you about because you've already come out. There's nothing. There's no mysteriousness. There's no mystique.
There's no mystique. I'm
no
all
mystique.
about aliens and just dudes.
Transparent.
And
Only
transparency.
Transparency.
With
Just dude aliens.
Just
dude aliens.
Oh, I love
Just
it.
the
I'm
dudes.
gonna regret this show.
Probably. It's all
Oh
right.
yeah, we already got Wicked Spider Black there. Let's see. Did we get them all? Yeah. For some reason, Doug is just out in the chat, star and everything. Oh, that's because TAC 42 says, "Oh my god," and it matches his avatar. Dude, I
OG.
saw the same thing you described at NTC in '95.
95. This was 99, but I have gone online after that happened and the internet became a thing. Because I dialed up and I searched, and there's a place where you can do you can look at old UFO reports, but it is not uncommon for that particular phenomenon to be seen in that area. So it probably is some spooky plane or something, but it was wild.
Phenomena.
No noise,
Phenomenon.
Casmo?
What's up?
When you saw it, no noise?
No, it's way up there. Stratosphere.
Do airliners make noise when they fly over your house, Gonky?
Sometimes.
If they're landing.
Yeah, sometimes, dude. I don't.
Yeah, Attack Air 42 says my entire CAF platoon witnessed it do the same thing. You're not alone.
There's tens of us.
You're
How
forming
much
a
is in
small
how many is in a
tribe
platoon
here, Casmo.
though?
Yeah.
How many is that?
Platoon? Like 40 dudes.
Oh, there you
Just dudes. 40 of them.
Dude, 40
Only
of them.
dudes.
By the
40.
end of
There
this
might,
show-
there might be chicks now too. I don't know. They may have changed that rule. I don't know. But yeah.
Heat Seeker says, just recently found your show, having a great time watching. What is the most unexpected or funny thing you've heard said over the radio? Over the radio. God, now you put me on the spot.
Well, stuck mics are always fun.
I did hear an American flight the other day doing their, we're getting ready to land, blah, blah, blah. Everybody in the back, but they were on guard. So that was fun.
I've heard that
That happens a
Chicago
lot.
Envoy or Republic or whatever. Like we're all waiting to take off. Chicago's holding us for something. And he's like, well, folks, Tower's holding us for a long time and they won't let everybody go. And it's like all broadcast over Tower. And Tower's like, check your frequency.
Yeah, flip the switch.
Like everybody's like, guard. No.
Yeah. Guard. That's the best is like the reaction sometimes when people here's a question for you guys. Do you guys normally in your respective airlines typically fly around with guard selected? Because I don't understand how so many people transmit on guard accidentally. Is that like a requirement that you have to be set to talk on guard?
No, you monitor guard. In fact, it automatically on the 7, 8, and 7, it automatically monitors guard.
Yeah.
Like it does it for you.
Yeah.
But
on our planes, on our newer planes, we have a third radio and it's always on guard. But I was just curious, like how are so many people accidentally being on guard? Like I never tune my radio to talk on guard.
Well, maybe my theory is like the 7-3 where you push down and you select, you just push the wrong one. You're like, oh, I'm gonna make a PA. Because in the 7-3, right, you had to select PA.
Yeah.
It wasn't because like the 7-8's got a PA button. So you can never screw that up. Right? PA button or it's a handheld.
You guys don't wouldn't use the push to talk in the 7.3 like on the yoke? Does it have a push to talk on the yoke?
I don't remember.
Yeah, it does. It's up and down. So up,
Yeah,
out,
that's right.
in,
That's right.
down, in.
And then some of them had a button up on the
They all do.
eyebrow there.
Yeah.
No, they don't all.
Oh, really? I'm sorry.
Not the 3s and the 4s.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I was thinking I lost my head.
Some
I'm
of the
in
800s.
this century.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, not 40 years ago we did that.
What
was
you
the other
crank
funny?
the radio?
I did. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Hi, Bobby there. Hi, Bobby there. Swift Light, Colin Tower.
That's right.
No, I did hear a funny one the other day. It wasn't so much that it was funny, it was just the reaction of everybody else on guard. Because one dude, it was some Cessna or something, and he's out there like on CTAF trying to make these calls for this radio, but he's on guard. And everyone keeps saying, "Hey, dude, you're on guard," and he's not getting it. And so he just keeps, I'm turning left base, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, and then he's like, I'm short final, runway 21, blah, blah. And somebody goes, go around. I was just like, and me and the other guy just started laughing. I don't know why it was so funny, but yeah, guard's always good for a laugh. Yeah. And then I don't know, you guys probably never had this problem, but like in the Kiowa, we had 4 radios, and you would switch them on the collective. There was just like this 4-way switch. And so you go one direction, it would select this radio. You go this direction, select this radio. And so guys it was very easy to accidentally tune up the wrong radio. And so guys would, routinely call tower, but they're actually talking on the team internal, or guys would goof off and start just like singing a song, but they're on the wrong radio. So now they're singing to like some infantry bubba down on the ground or to tower or something like that. So things like that would happen all the time.
Yeah. I've told this story before, but we've had the guys, this is not my story, but they were coming back from a pond crossing and tankers dragging them. So, Houston Center to go into Miami, and tanker peels off because he's going to MacDill, and they're now a 4-ship. So they have to talk, but they had the radios flipped, right? Because they were on inner flight on up and the tanker on down, down, so they could monitor. Well, they had been doing a crossword puzzle on aux the whole pond crossing over. And as they switched, they were still doing the crossword puzzle. So they're like, it's got 4 letters. I got a C here. It's, and so Houston's like, Texaco 1-1, when you're finished your crossword puzzle, go ahead and contact Tampa Approach. Because they're totally blaming the tanker guys for doing their crossword puzzle on the radio. Meanwhile, like airliner guys are like, is it cat? Is it? They're all trying to guess what it is. And the fighter guys are like, oh shit, okay, I'm sorry. Like, get back on the right radio. Anyway.
Totally professional.
Yeah, that's how we operate. Gundam Blade says, is this the CASMO show guest Gonky and Mover? Yes.
Sure.
Sometimes.
Okay, moving on to our next topic where there's no segue. CASMO, I sent you this the other day. I thought this was pretty funny. The Syrian rebels are now trying to use tutorials, and makes me wonder, did they use your videos? Because I've used your videos to learn the Apache.
Well, I think this is an MI8, and I don't like the MI8 in DCS, so it's definitely not my videos. But I think it would be hilarious if they did. They probably Grim Reapers or something.
بدور على اليوتيوب طريقة
يوتيوب.
الطيارة المروحية.
YouTube.
ما نعرف مشكلة.
The Grim Reaper.
Oh boy.
It would just be funny to hear in the background, hello, welcome back.
بدور على اليوتيوب طريقة تشغيل طيارة المروحية.
Today we are learning how to fly the MI8.
In their defense, I mean, I do the same thing, right? If something stumps me, I'm like, all right, where's my phone?
Well,
I'm not gonna lie, I learned a lot of the 7.3 from watching YouTube videos.
Well, the best part is you probably later in the video you hear them popping off rounds and they're like, get through the ad, skip the ad. Oh, we've got to go.
Yeah, scroll forward. No, too far.
We already know. Battery. Okay, next to go.
Oh, dude, that's funny.
Wait, there's a part
shooting.
Yeah, there's a part.
It's not out yet.
Oh, next time when we're talking about taxi and takeoff. Oh,
no. Yeah, dude.
The video is only 6 hours old.
We don't
Yeah,
have
that's
this
pretty
version.
wild. Yeah, that could be a problem. Yeah, that's pretty wild to I mean, I guess if you knew how to I've always made the joke like I could fly any helicopter, I just need you to start it for me.
Yep.
And it's probably the same too. Like maybe these guys actually know how to fly, but they don't know how to start an MI8. Well, I can't blame them.
We only
So-
do quick starts in DCS. Damn it.
Yeah. They're like Troll X or whatever the hell. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you got a point, man. I think I've
But it's
thought that-
valid. I mean,
yeah.
that's how I learned like how to use like VNav and stuff because I didn't know anything about any of that crap. And
Yeah.
then going into 7.3, I was watching videos like, what does this do?
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, I V1 cut in the A320. I still watch.
Well, I still don't know
I
what a
use-
VNav is.
I use YouTube for that.
We just ask Captain.
Captain, which button do I push, Captain?
You have control, sir.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
I'm scared. Awesome.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about something less happy-go-lucky. CASMO, you didn't know about this. We were talking about this before the show. This is from 2023. See if we can. So there was a CH-147, which I guess is that a Canadian thing where everything they
Yeah.
add the one? Because I think they're called like the
CF 118.
118, the 135 for F-35.
Something.
I'll read the
Yeah.
summary and then the findings. So basically, to set this up, because I did this on my channel and I thought it'd be nice to talk, to you, CASMO and Gonky, because spatial D affects everyone. So this was a student flight, Hammer 3-1, and the plan was basically for the IP, it was 2 students, right? So the IP flew 2 legs with 1 student. They land, they swap students. The second student takes off, gets airborne, gives them a chip light. And so, hey, let's turn back around and do an emergency landing. Lands, okay, clear that, and then takes back off and gives him NVG fail emergency, which I didn't even know you could do that because I've flown single seat. I don't know how you would initiate that. So he goes,
Just put your
okay,
hands over his goggles.
well, I don't know, because what happens
No, I'm
is
telling you.
Oh, is that
That's
what?
how we
Well,
did
because the
it.
student troubleshoots it and hands the control back to him,
Hmm.
and he then starts a left-hand turn to go, over the river back. They're flying low level, and the student's like, "Okay, boss, I fixed it." And he gives him the aircraft back, and there's no like, "Hey, we're descending call" or "We're in a turn
Hmm.
call." So the student's like, "Okay, I'm setting up. We're gonna do before landing checklist, all this stuff," and they cancel a rat out alert and end up flying right into the water. 60 Gs on impact. Luckily, the 2 FEs survived, but unfortunately, the student pilot and the pilot. So I'll read the summary real quick because that's the top-down view. But as the IP initiated a left turn, the bank angle was brought to 36 degrees. The aircraft remained at that bank angle for approximately 7 seconds, during which time the student pilot was handed the controls. During these 7 seconds, the crew of Hammer 3-1 did not apply enough thrust or set the proper attitude to maintain a constant altitude. Over this 7-second period, the rate of descent slowly increased, seemingly without the crew being aware. Following the 7-second period, where the bank angle was approximately 36 degrees, the bank angle reduced, and the aircraft maintained a constant rate of descent of approximately 1,000 feet per minute for the last 19 seconds of flight. At the start of the 19 seconds where the flight was at a constant rate of descent, it's likely the crew were unaware of their exact rate of descent and may have believed they were at a relatively constant altitude, suffering from spatial disorientation. Subsequent manual thrust reduction resulted in reduced engine torque values from 59% to 18%, which would indicate intent to initiate a descent. However, the conditions that night were perfect for the creation of a black hole effect, which would have rendered it much more difficult to use external visual cues to assess height and rate of descent while using NVGs. It was an overcast night. So like low illume plus overcast is what they were dealing with.
Right.
Finally, the investigator concluded that the rat out low altitude audio warning was likely canceled reflexively by one of the pilots to focus on giving or receiving navigational instructions, and task saturation prevented further actions. Although one of the FEs heard the rat out low altitude audio warning, none of the potential scenarios analyzed reference FE actions would have prevented the accident during the final moments. So the findings, we talked about the 36 degrees. It was the first and only time that night they had flown over the river. The rest was over land. So this was the first time they had turned back over the river into that kind of black hole effect, which they didn't use any of the mitigating measures or following the shorelines, native modes, and increased height above water. They thought the black hole effect, low illumination over the Ottawa River was a big thing. They have a moving down call. CASMO, you guys got that call? Like when you're descending, you tell the other guy, hey, I'm moving down. But I don't know if
I've
that's
never heard
Canadian.
moving down. Yeah, it sounds
No.
Canadian, I guess.
When they passed the flight controls, they were in a 300 foot a minute descent rate. So during the change of aircraft control, the aircraft was descending with no one knowing what was going on. And there was no indication of them saying, hey, this is what happened. The FEs had no idea that this happened until they were 20 feet above the water, in which case it was too late. And he said it very casually. He didn't really say, hey, pull up, climb, something. But so they were unaware that they were in imminent danger for the proximity of the water. The IP may not have been alert during the second half of the mission. This happened at midnight, and they are manned for IPs like everywhere else in the military, United States and other countries we've talked about. And the student had the program was supposed to take, I think they said 6 months, and it was over 2.5 years at this point because of all the breaks in training that he was having. Like it was just like he'd have a 30-day break in training, and they wouldn't give him warm-up rides when he'd come back. So, he's struggling through here. And this is the tactical portion of their checkout course. So they have the basic course. This is the night sling load, NVGs, all that stuff. Rat out setting was only verbalized once, despite being required. It was also a check ride. So the student was getting, what you and I have talked about this, CASMO, the student was getting quizzed on like general knowledge, EPs, all that stuff on the ground when he first gets in. He's like, all right, what's this mean? What's this mean? And they don't say it's causal. They don't say he was frazzled, but Gonky, you and I have talked about this. I don't like that. I've had it happen to me. I've flown with people that want to do that, and I think that is it decreases your ability to focus on what you're doing.
Yeah, cockpit's the worst classroom.
Yeah. But that's a helicopter thing, Army thing. Like, what is that? CASMO, you guys do that?
I'm trying to think. I mean, I don't think that's like a thing. I think it's probably just depends on the instructor.
Yeah.
Some are more prone to do it and others are not. But yeah, I mean, for as far as like, you're talking about goggles, overcast, over water. I mean, these are all like really bad like conditions, particularly if you're uncomfortable. So he's in training. I mean, goggles, flying helicopters under goggles. I mean, it takes you a long time before you're really comfortable. 100+ hours, I would say, just kind of ballparking. I mean, it was around there. So it got to the point where I was very comfortable flying goggles, but, almost more so than daylight because you felt like you had a layer of protection. But that initial part, man, just getting into that dark cockpit, especially like getting into the dark cockpit. I always hated like being the second guy because like the aircraft's already running, like things are already happening. You always just feel like you're on the back foot getting caught up. But now he's under stress and, transfer of controls when the aircraft is in some sort of, I don't want to say dynamic, but doing something is, I don't like that. Heck, I don't even like to drop the gear if I'm in a turn, like in my current job. Like I just, I like things to be stable before I do anything else. So transferring the controls, and they're in a what'd you say, like 36-degree pitch or something?
Well, they wound up in a 36-degree roll because it just kind of just kept going.
Yeah. Well, like you said, the spatial D, you don't know that you're moving, and it takes you a second to get your cross check. And if he's a trainee, he doesn't have probably a very good cross check, so probably a little bit slower to figure out that the aircraft's descending or something. There's just a lot of bad juju going on here.
Yeah, it says it took 2.6 times more time than authorized by the TEP. It allocates 152 training days, which is 30.5 weeks, but he was 571 or 81.5 weeks doing this. So not 2.5 years, like I said, but a significant 2.5 times longer.
Yeah, those training bubbles are very painful. I mean, when I went through the Apache course, I was mixed in with a bunch of Saudis, and they had not flown a helicopter in 2 years because of training bubbles. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
The last time they flew helicopters was in Australia for basic flight training, and then they brought them over to the States to do Apache 2 years later. I was like, that is, you want to talk about drinking from the fire hose. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. They also said something, and this is something I'm not familiar with. They said the RCAF does not have a high fidelity spatial disorientation trainer, which is used by most of its allies. What is a high fidelity spatial disorientation trainer? Did you guys have that in the Army? Did you have
I
something?
don't even know what that would be.
Barony chair? Like
I don't think we did anything like that. I don't remember doing anything like that.
yeah, I don't know.
I
what
mean,
that
the only
means.
thing we would do is like in the cockpit, and you guys probably did something in training or something, maybe depending. But like, they would have you like close your eyes and put your head
Yeah.
down,
Mhm.
and then like do
Mhm.
something funky to the aircraft. Okay, but
Yeah.
other than that,
Yeah. Yeah, they did that in the sim, close your eyes and then the thing would be like doing whatever it was going to do.
Yeah, or we do it in flight too. I mean,
But yeah, but then you
have a lot
didn't
of
close your
altitude.
eyes because who's going to do that?
That-
Wearing
yeah,
a
for legal
mask and a
reasons, yeah.
visor.
Yeah.
And you would think, like, I mean, there's a lot of heavy terrain out there with like no light. I mean, Spatial D up in that neck of the woods. Can
Well,
be
they were right by the base. So they had a lot of cultural lighting from the base, but because the river was lower, the trees shielded it. So the trees were blocking the cultural lighting from the base, but they were like so if you looked right, they're looking at like base and all this stuff. If they look left, it's just nothingness. It's trees into the river.
Yeah, sometimes that can
Oh.
be like a false sense of security,
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Well, I think too, above like a certain altitude, goggles don't give you any context as to how high you are.
Mhm.
Right. Like I remember just being over the desert in Afghanistan. And unless you were like, I want to say like, if you were above 200 feet, you just had no concept of how high you were. It wasn't until you got lower and then you could start to kind of pick up some granularity to the ground. But yeah, to be in that dark a situation, yeah, that's asking a lot.
Well,
Well,
and
you-
also NVGs do not make day or night into day. They are
Right.
light amplifiers.
That's
so
right.
if you're
So if there's no
low
light,
illume, yeah, if
That's
you're
right.
low illume with clouds, you're not getting a whole lot of. It's probably grainy and sparkly and
Right.
staticky
Yeah,
looking.
it's bad when the goggles are sparkling. Yeah, exactly. Well, and
Real
that's why,
dark.
like in Afghanistan, you had like red illume. I don't know if you guys use that term or not, but like for us, a red illume night was like less than 25% illumination, and you wouldn't do like an air assault. You wouldn't ask the lift guys to land because the illumination was so low, it was just too dangerous. And so you kind of timed things based on like the moon and overcast and things like that. But I mean, it sounds like a red illume situation.
Yeah, it was. I mean, they even talk about they had a matrix, as far as what the threshold was for mitigating measures and stuff. High risk is what it was. It's just
Okay.
the assessment was ranging from 0.54 millilux to 0.85. Below 8.5 would have raised the score to 5, which would necessitate approval by the supervisor, which it would have been granted, but they at least would have been talking about it. One thing I thought was interesting, the helo dunker we've done, and they blindfold you. Here's a real world example of that. The FE's egress from the aircraft was hampered by a lack of illumination within the cabin. So once they crashed and he survived, it's pitch black, and he was in the water for 45 minutes before they got to him.
Jesus.
So is one instructor and 2 students?
So it's one instructor, 2 students,
student.
but they had swapped. So this was the second student of the night on the second leg of the second student's flight.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. That can be tough, man. I mean, I've never flown helicopter, but I've taken students out at night in the Hornet. And I specifically remember when I was relatively new, I took 3 Marines out to, we're in El Centro. I mean, there's no light out there. And we're just doing circle the wagons, just visual bombing. And real quickly, like I realized, dude, I was supposed to participate in the bombing, but I just focused 100% on like making sure nobody, everybody recovered when they were supposed to recover. The spacing was right. And I guess what I'm getting at is, we're visual beings. You lose that. You really got to focus on what's going on around you. Cause I could see how you could quickly lose SA what's going on. And, if he's got 2 students here, man, that, extended training profile, right? So they're probably not that good. No fault of their own, most likely.
Right.
High workload. Like CASMO said, a whole lot of bad environmental and other things going on. It's not a recipe for success.
So one of the things they talked about, CASMO is do you know if the Chinook is similar to the like Apache as far as the pilot vehicle interface? Like, could you guys cancel rat out on the collective? Like, was there stuff you could hands off cancel alerts and tones and stuff?
No, you'd have to reach up. I don't know how the Chinook is.
Well, they in the Chinook they could cancel it. There was a button on the collective, and so basically what they're saying is they canceled it like muscle memory, and nobody acknowledged it. And it's recommended that they, related approach be removed, specifically a note indicating that verbal acknowledgement of audio activation is not required. So basically what they're saying, and we see this in the airline world, is you don't do anything without, hey, does that look good? 4,000 for 5,000, when we're approaching an altitude, 1 to go, like we confirm stuff back and forth that may prevent something like this.
Obnoxiously so, but yes, we do it.
Yes.
Yes. You're right. Well, it's funny because like even I, in the Apache, at least the way I was taught, was acknowledge everything that the aircraft says to you, because it'll talk and say blah blah blah, and so acknowledge everything. So even now, like when I'm landing, like when the aircraft says minimums, I say landing. Like I just like throw that out there. It's like I'm acknowledging that the aircraft has told me I've reached minimums. I can see the runway. I just I don't have to do it. But that acking, we call it acking in the 58, because you had the acknowledge switch. Acking stuff off, it became automatic. I torched an engine one time because I act off the act, because we were so used to being so hot and heavy in Afghanistan that it was not uncommon to get into your TGT limits, and we were taxiing out, and I was the pilot in command, but I wasn't flying, and he's taxiing out, and I just acted off real quick, and I'm doing something else, and I looked at the screen, and there's a timer going, and I saw it go 2, 1, and I went, and I went to push the collective down, and I missed, I didn't make it. So, and the engine had to get inspected and all this crap, but it's from exactly doing that of just, it's fine. Just act it off. And so, having it on the collective, I didn't know that. That's definitely going to invite you to get very used to just acting stuff off.
Well, and that's, he talks, or the board, the colonel, the authority of the board there talks about this as another point, a reminder of the risk associated with aviation. But really, we talk about the various levels of spatial disorientation being recognized, unrecognized. The most dangerous thing in the world is unrecognized spatial disorientation, because by its nature, you don't know what you don't know. And to convince yourself that what you're seeing on your instruments is wrong, is right, when what you're feeling is the wrong one. Like people just, I mean, I've been there, it's like, you feel like you get the leans, or like in this case, you're in a bank long enough, your body just goes, okay, well, I'm in a bank, and you just get used to it.
Yeah. And especially at night. And I think it's easy in our current careers to sort of forget. I mean, you guys aren't as removed from it as I am, but like military flying is a lot more visual. Even though you've got all the instruments, you're still much more visual. I mean, in our current job, like you're always looking at the instruments, it's like, it's not as prone to happen. But for a new guy in those conditions, trying to learn how to fly goggles and stuff, there's all just beeps and boops and bongs going off and everything. It can be overwhelming. So,
this is what you were talking about, your ACT switch, your ACT button. It's on the cyclic. So not the collective, on your cyclics right there.
Oh, it's on their cyclic. Oh, that looks like a Kiowa's cyclic. Enhance. Let me see that.
Let's see if I know how to do that on here.
Do they have the same? That's the same stick.
Did you have an ACT right there?
No, that was where's the there's the ACT. Oh, I don't think we had a button right there.
Right here. Sorry.
Yeah, I see it.
Side.
I don't think we had a button there, but everything like that big one, that's the whoop ass switch on the Kiowa. That's the fire switch.
Oh. Yeah, and I got it confused because there's this thrust brake switch, which I guess
they don't have a collective. They call it a thrust. Yeah, that's right.
People were using that. I guess I don't understand what a thrust brake switch does. What is a thrust brake switch, CASMO?
I don't know.
That's some Chinook thing, I guess.
I didn't fly Chinooks. I studied in school. Shots fired.
Ooh, yeah. But there's your displays. It looks like a normal. And there's your rat out here at the bottom. So, yeah,
I didn't know that.
It's very very tragic. You know, a loss of life always is. It's very terrible, but I think we can always learn from it because, especially in helicopters, man, helicopters, because they're low to the ground and spend a lot of time dynamically operating.
I'll get you.
With not a lot of instrument like reliance, you know, versus us, you know, we're close to the ground. We might fly the ILS. We might fly. In the helicopter world, it's a lot more visual. So when you get into these situations, convincing people to rely on their instruments is some kind, you know, it's the whole land and live thing that we've talked about inadvertent and IMC. But
yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I guess if we've got nothing else on that one. Mark says, new subscriber by binge watched the movie Gonky over the weekend. Retired USAF and Leo Sergeant. Cool. Thanks for your service. Keep up the good work. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate you watching. Corey says, Mover, do you think that police aviation will ever transition from rotary to some sort of UAV platform, or are drones over American cities a no-go? They already have, to their detriment in some cases. Our agency got rid of our helicopter 3 or 4 years ago and now have a drone that they've used. And always when something pops off, they end up calling a helicopter in from somewhere else. Like it never fails, you know, like the other day they took a picture of the canine apprehending this dude, and above it was the customs helicopter, you know. Yeah, but a lot of agencies are doing it. The problem is, you know, these drones are about 50 to 60 grand. So they are cheaper to operate, cost of entry, depending on how you get the helicopter. Because, you know, if you got that LISO 1033 program where it's, you know, it's like a $10,000 lease from the government. You get a buyback from a old Kiowa or something, which is hard to find now, you know, because they're not getting rid of them anymore. But the biggest issue is loiter time, you know, being able to go on station somewhere. Like if you need to, like they're not going to do a pursuit with a drone because you don't have the range to follow something, and that could be an issue, or multiple locations you're not going to be able to hit, or whatever. I am an advocate, because I'm biased, of actually having a helicopter, but a lot of agencies are doing drones over that already, and there's no like no-go situation for that. You guys got anything you want to talk about it? No? Am I the only one? Okay, great.
I think the police should get like the Green Goblin has. They should have little drones that they could just like surf on, and then they could have a big flashlight.
I think we should go more towards Blue Thunder or Airwolf.
And like a rope ladder. Gotta have a rope ladder.
With a rope with a rope ladder. That's right.
Dan O'Grady.
Handcuffs.
Oh, cute puppy dog.
Yeah.
Thank you for going through this close to home for us. We work with some 450 guys, and they routinely fly low level over our town through the mountains along the Ottawa River. Wild seeing them 200 feet above the water at night.
Yeah. Wow. Thanks, Dan.
Yeah. Oh, man. And Thomas says, evening, guys. No Walmart tonight. Sorry, Doug. Yawn. Damn, Doug. Shots fired.
That's legit.
CASMO, you missed it.
Oh, dude.
The 2 inside jokes on that one. Wombat was in the middle of one of his dissertations.
No, he was just getting ready to get started.
He was just amping up, and Doug like,
just the biggest yawn, dude.
He's like, what happened? What do you mean? He didn't know he wasn't muted.
I was crying.
Well done, Doug.
Yep. I'm going to claim it was an accident.
That was the night that Gonky was in charge.
Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then
never again.
Oh, the Walmart was last week.
Walmart was last week. Towards the end of the show, Doug was
delirious.
He
called him
was
Walmart. He's like, then Walmart's not on the show today. Like,
oh no.
Called him Walmart.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
What's he gonna call you? What are you gonna be? Karma? Karma's not here today. Karma.
Oh, it's funny. The night is young.
Yeah.
My brain is old.
Yeah, you got to start doing these shows earlier in the day. Everyone's yawning and getting tired, and start them at like 5.
Gonky would never be able to. The kids would be like hanging on him.
Dude.
Mid.
Hold on, guys. Gotta go. That's
Like,
right.
damn it! I told
Yeah.
you. I have to come over there.
Not when I'm working.
Technical difficulty screen would just keep popping
I'm
up.
doing
on
very
his,
important stuff here, kids. This is important.
this is your
Dad-
future.
Dad's
This is
playing
your
with the
future.
computer.
Doing the show.
I'm the next Joe Rogan.
Yeah, it's important.
Yeah.
Actually, we're more like Krusty the Clown and Sideshow Bob for anything.
All right.
Oh, love it.
Hey, did you want to talk about the TBIs, Mr. Navy pilot?
Yeah. Here, let me happen to have it right here.
A lot of people have sent us this article recently. It seems to
It's
be
up.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, here we go. You guys see that?
Yeah.
Whoops. Top Gun Navy pilots fly at the extremes, their brains may suffer. So, yeah, actually, a guy that we flew with, Tank, sent me this, and then, like Mover said, it started trickling in. So, this fall, the Navy quietly began a confidential project codenamed Project Odin's Eye to try to find out the mental issues that flying fighters in the Navy puts on people. The effort will collect roughly 1,500 data points of brain function. Looks like they're going to profile Top Gun guys specifically. However, just because you're at that, whether you're at Top Gun flying or you're just out in the fleet flying, you're just subjected. It's all the same. So Top Gun has it's not any harder on the body than being just a fleet.
Oh no, the documentary showed them pulling 9Gs.
You can pull 9Gs.
leader.
You can.
You're
You
the
can
team
pull-
leader. You pull 9Gs.
Yeah.
Do they not have more strenuous, like, I mean, I guess they're not launching off carriers and stuff, but they're like dogfighting all the time, right?
No, I mean that's part of the syllabus. I
Hmm.
would argue that actually probably the article talks a lot about cat shots and stuff, which when you're going to Top Gun, you don't do any of that. You
Sure,
take off
right.
from the field. So I think they're using Top Gun as a
The best of the
Just
best.
the moniker. Yeah.
yeah, it's like it's gonna it'll drive home the point more. But I think it's just talking about basically carrier fighter pilots. At least I don't know. That's my understanding. Anyways, they're looking at mainly the Navy's workhorse fighter jet, the F-18 Super Hornet, and the goal is to understand the scope of the problem and identify pilots who are injured by flying these airplanes. So some pilots say the effect is long overdue. In interviews, more than a dozen current and former Navy fighter crew members said that years of catapult launches from aircraft carriers and body crushing high G maneuvers can take a cumulative toll. At the end of their careers, they say some top performers become confused, erratic, and consumed by anxiety and depression. Pilots and symptoms are routinely dismissed as unrelated mental problems. In addition, they said pilots often hide symptoms in order to keep flying. So it's a bit of a long article, but the doctor that's kind of running this thing, she was a Tomcat. I don't know if she was a pilot or a Rio, but she says no one's talking about it. But this is a big problem. Said Dr. Kristen Barnes, who flew precursor to the Super Hornet, the F-14 Tomcat for 22 years.
Tomcats.
And then became a doctor. So she's smart. When you launch from the carrier, you accelerate from 0 to almost 200 miles per hour in 2 seconds. Your brain gets squished in the back of your skull. You can heal from that once, but can you heal from it 10 times? She did it 750 times. So,
But she still became a doctor.
she did, which tells me she's probably a Rio. Just kidding. Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
They mentioned Jello in there.
Yeah. So the article, I mean,
I don't know why, but
I'll summarize the rest of it. The article talks. I mean,
No, it talks about your brain is like Jello,
oh,
like-
not the person.
right? Not the man.
Well, Jello was so movers. Like I was just kind of reading through it before the show, and one of the pilots that he committed suicide. I didn't know it. I knew him. He went. He was a year ahead of me, but we'd flown together because he was a Top Gun guy, Jake Rosales. So, and it talks about how he made it to the rank of captain or 06 in the Navy. So he'd had a lot of exposure to cat shots, traps, BFM because he was a Top Gun guy, a squadron commander, RAG skipper as well, and he he committed suicide, and leading up to that, his family reported that he just kind of kept withdrawing, and his just going into a darker place. And could there be any relationship between his career and his mental health there all the way to the end? And Jello, Ainello, he would have been in that same cadre. And there's another Top Gun guy in the article as well, Jeff Fellows, I guess, who knew Rosales. And I went to flight school with Fellows. He was another Top Gun guy. So it's very sad to me because, like I said, I knew of Jake Rosales, and I would never expect that from him. Is there any correlation from your brain bouncing around in your skull from cat shots and traps? I don't know. I mean, I've had enough cat shot. I mean, for me, the neck. I've had a couple pretty good cat shots that hurt my neck, but I kind of jokingly told Mover before the show, that's probably what's wrong with me. Maybe all those cat shots, did something to my brain. But on a serious note, I mean, it, maybe potentially
it could be present and contributing, right? Like, so
Yeah.
it's not the reason, but it's compounded with other things that have gone on, because lots of people have done lots of cat shots, right? And all these other things, but not everyone's doing it. So it's like, okay, but this could be contributing to something else that's going on with this particular individual, and it's just kind of piling on or making things worse. So yeah, it's worth looking at. I mean, the brain, we don't really, we don't understand how the brain works very well. And it takes a long time for us to gather data on the stuff that we do to our bodies, right? And let's be honest, like shooting people off of aircraft carriers is relatively new in the sphere of human, existence, right? So,
Right.
yeah.
I mean, you look at boxers, right? I mean, that's pretty much confirmed. Like you do a long
football,
career.
right? They do things differently in football now.
Yeah. Same thing with riding dirt bikes, racing motocross. I mean, you get hit in the head enough times, and they will not let you. If you're professional, they're like, no, you're done, because the risk factors go up, and that for death. So I don't know, Mover, what do you think, man?
What's the old saying? Correlation does not equal causation. That's a tough one to nail down, especially with a limited data set.
Right.
One of the things that is another factor, and Doug, correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of these anxiety, depression, all these things that they're talking about, another contributing factor is high intelligence, which you get in pilots. I mean, people that get to that level of their career, you're not dummy flying high performance aircraft, period, dot. So that could be a factor. The fact that, you're taking the weight of the world on your shoulders and you have no way to decompress. And then once you get out of being high performing for an entire career, it's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to turn this off. I don't know how to deal with daily life. And that contributes to suicide and stuff like that, which is why we talk about mental health on this channel as much as we do. I could easily see the cat shot versus the, trap argument of moving your brain around in your skull and causing some kind of brain injury. I don't know about the pulling G's. I mean, one of the articles, I think it was a video, was talking about, it takes very little to damage brain cells, right? Lack of oxygen, stuff like that. Well, when you pull G's, you are depriving your brain of oxygen, which is what the anti-G straining maneuver does, is it brings blood back up. But if you G lock or whatever, I mean, you're reducing blood flow to the brain. But if that's the case, why are we only talking the Navy? Because the Navy pulls 7.5 Gs.
I think it's the axis. Right?
No, they talked about BFM.
Yeah, I know. But
what I'm saying is BFM is not exclusive to the Navy. In fact, they don't pull any Gs. So if they're saying that Gs are causal, then the Air Force needs to be on this too, because we pull 9 Gs on mini jets, more jets than the Navy will ever pull 9 Gs on for longer periods of time. So is there an issue there, or is it just the motion that the traps are? Is it a trap specific, in which case you need to bring in the E2 and the C2 and all the other aircraft that take cat shots and traps and all that stuff. So
Yeah, those the big wing airplanes, they do that, but it's a softer because they require less flying. It is violent, but it's not as violent.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've heard of, race car drivers having the same thing because you
Right.
spend 3 hours, banked up with your brains, sitting on the side of your skull because you're pulling lateral G's. So I don't know.
I think you're
I'm
right, dude.
surprised.
The Air Force, I think should be on board as well because
If they're saying, if there's any hint that pulling G's over time, because they bring up Top Gun, and Top Gun, the only way you're pulling G, the only way this affects Top Gun is if you're pulling G's. And if that's the case, then you need to go to the Air Force because the Air Force pulls more G's. Period. Dot. Realize that, I'm part of some older fighter pilot groups, and actually it's called Old Fighter Pilots. There has been a big push. And it's taken a while to get the VA to even recognize service connection with neck injuries and long-term effects of flying fighters, spinal injuries, and not just like, I'm saying if you're like Gonky, one dude that was like, I'm never going to stop flying, so I'm never going to go to the dock, right? So if you get out after 20-something years and then go to the VA and say, hey, my neck is jacked from 20 years of flying fighters, they're going to go, it's not service connected.
That's right.
Versus, and
I'm fighting that now. Thanks.
Right now, there is a push from flight surgeons and fighter pilots that are going, look, there's a nexus here. You put that strain on your spine, you are going to be injured over time. It's going to cause arthritis. It's going to cause discs to be out of place. It may not be present at the time when you're 20-something years old, but it's like a football player, man. Your knees are good when you're young, but not when you're 40-something. Or 50-something or whatever later on in life.
I talked to Bones, who was our old chiropractor, and he got a ride in a 15EX, and he told me, he said, there's no way you can do a career as a fighter pilot and not have neck and back issues. One flight is all it took him. He's like, yeah, dude.
So, I mean, that's the thing. And the biggest risk, though, here's what I would worry about. It's a slippery slope, right? If we start saying flying fighters causes TBIs, guess who's going to take interest in that? The FAA.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's like, well, you can't get a medical because you got this VA thing, and we've been looking at your record.
But you know what, man? That would be so many people. Like, at the end of the day, the FAA still got to keep, like, they got to
keep the metal moving.
They got to keep stamping things, right? So, but I agree with you. Like, it could be concerning, but I think it'd be so overwhelming. It'd be like, all right, well, I don't know, just write that out.
Send them to the 73 Max department.
But I don't want to be the first. I wouldn't want to be the first dude to be like, hey, I got a brain injury.
Well, do you even have to raise your hand? I mean,
right,
dude, that's not like, hey, my elbow hurts. That's something you won't be able to diagnose yourself. People will see patterns of behavior and go, what's wrong with Mover? And it won't just be a lovingly, what's wrong with Mover? It's going to be,
do we start?
What is wrong with Mover?
Yeah.
Or Gonky.
Yeah, let me know, man. If I start.
Oh, it's too late.
Put it down in the comments below.
Yeah, you'd be the opposite. Whatever made you turn into a golden retriever. Were you ever angry and then suddenly got happy? Like, did you start your career angry and then became a golden retriever?
Maybe the cat shots. Maybe, I don't know.
Jarred a bunch of, maybe I need some cat shots.
Maybe.
Do Navy guys not pull as many G's because they won't use the paddle switch? Is that
the airplane's 8.2 is the most it ever gave me.
He's trolling you.
8 G's.
Trolling you here.
Cowards. Okay.
We don't
Team leader.
That's right. Yeah.
Thomas says, Mover, would a NASCAR Hans device work for fighters or too restrictive?
Too restrictive.
Hans.
Here's your $1 billion idea. Right? Here's your $1 billion idea. Retractable Hans. That you would lock for the cat shot and then unlock once it would automatically lock for the cat shot and then unlock.
It's not that it's not so the head box kind of holds your head, but
easy.
it's the gray matter inside that allegedly
that's
slams
right.
into the back of your
that
skull.
that and a Hans device doesn't affect that anyway. Hans is keeping you from your
Keeps you
neck from
breaking your
snapping.
neck.
Dale
Yeah.
Earnhardt. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I stand corrected. I thought I was going to get the Mover and Gonky Enterprises another $1 billion.
Hey, we got to keep working it, man. We got to
Hey,
keep working
Just keep
it.
throwing that spaghetti at the wall.
Right.
If I'm on the show when it happens, I get a cut. Okay,
That's
I get a
right.
taste.
That's right. Doug,
Yeah.
you too. We'll
Doug, you get a
10x
little
what you're
bit.
making now.
He's sleeping. He's not
He's-
even
No,
here
I'm okay.
anymore.
He's at Walmart.
Oh, there he is.
Million,
He's at
dollar,
Walmart.
million dollar ideas are cheap. It's the execution that costs you.
That's right.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Renee says same symptoms as a CTE, decel and acceleration to your brain.
Hmm.
Yep. And Hot and Tarnation says Great Balls of Fire was foreshadowing. Evidently, you shake my nerves and you rattle my brain.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 not service related. Dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Take my breath away. What's that one? Anyway,
Oh, no, 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 no.
hey, Gonky, you're back up. Actually, you've got the last three here.
What is it? Hold on. I don't have any of them.
Yeah, pull your
F-22
weight around
shoots
here.
down a UFO.
Oh, yeah, we
Dude, this
should've
is the UFO episode, man.
We should have
Yeah.
talked about
This
that
is the one I want to
to.
be on. I want to be on the one that talks about aliens.
We should have talked about that one
Just for you.
after CASMO was telling us about his
But you are just as capable of moving the little banner up in the appropriate section, sir.
I listen.
Mover and Gonky. It
Yeah,
says
I
that
He's
don't
right
got
on
a
the
lot of
title.
shots. He can't.
we
Can't
have
He's got a
positive control.
CTE. Sorry.
I'll help.
12 cat
Well,
shots.
let's go back to that
There.
previous article for a second. I just want to know why they named it the Odyssey or whatever they named it.
Oh,
instead of like,
explained
Odin's
it.
eye.
It's
why not
because
like
he sacrificed some mythical god that sacrificed his eye to learn something or something.
no,
like
it needs to be like Operation Simplejack. You know, something more current with.
Simple Jack.
Yeah. Anyway,
Ah,
sorry, go ahead.
I don't know. Did you share? Doug, did
Billy
you,
asks, please cut this part out.
did you share this tweet? Yeah.
Is that the
Yeah,
right
it
one?
says Canadian Defense
Yeah, there it
Department
is.
releases new image of UFO shot down by.
yes.
It looks like the Chicago Bears emblem backwards.
Oh no, that's a Trade Federation ship. Everyone knows that. That's from Star Wars. That's a Star Wars.
Star Trek.
That's a Star Trek.
That's a Millennium
Star
Falcon,
Trek.
isn't it? Yeah. So yeah.
Millennium, did you say the Millennium Vulcan?
No.
The Millennium.
Falcon.
Vulcan? Vulcan?
I don't know.
That's Trade Federation for sure.
Yeah, it says, hold on, Doug. Canadian Department of National Defense has released an updated image of an unidentified object that was shot down. Department
That's
spokesman said,
identified. That's the
The
letter
Bears.
C.
Royal Canadian Air Force plane captured the image before a U.S. fighter, F-22, fighter jet fired on the object over Yukon and Western Canada in February of 2023. Let's see. The UFO was shot down on February 11th, shortly after it entered Canadian airspace through Alaska. It was one of 3 unidentified objects blasted out of the sky that month, according to.
Yeah. The other 2 were children's party balloons.
This one is not a party balloon, dude. It is a flying
be.
C.
It could
This
be.
is the
It
letter
could be
C.
Charlie's birthday. The C balloon.
But it's a C like my son writes him now. It's backwards.
Well, if you mirror
Well,
it
it's in the
if-
wind. It's
It's
flat.
it's all about perspective.
weather-baiting.
Come on. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
it's a
picture's
C to
upside
me,
down.
but it could be.
Dude, but this is what I'm talking about, man. Like, I mean, what camera was used to capture this image?
It's Canada. Maybe they don't have nice stuff.
Oh
They don't have
no,
cameras yet.
well,
small
you know,
country,
yeah, a
Gonky.
small country like Canada, they probably can't afford a color and a high definition camera. You know, I mean, the camera that took that picture was like
We love Canada, by the way. We love our
Yeah.
Canadian
vintage,
people.
1950s, 60s, super grainy, man. So I don't know. CASMO
So they
didn't look
say
anything
they-
like.
Gonky, do you own a high definition camera? Like you're
No.
talking trash about these people's photography, but do you own?
on my phone?
Yeah, that's an iPhone 3.
No, it's not.
Show the
Your pic-
face. Show the face. All right.
Yeah, man.
I was waiting to see buttons.
Yeah, right. It's got one button. It
It
does,
does
have
have
one.
a button.
It's got a button.
Yeah, that's fair.
I like the home button.
There's Nokia.
Yeah,
Oh boy.
I don't know.
So they say they shot it down.
Yeah, and that's the thing is
They
like,
say we
Alright,
shot it
and-
down.
and?
oh well, yeah,
Right?
yeah, that's right. So
it's like there's
great
more to the-
first chapter. Yeah,
Yeah, there's
Tell us
more to
the
the
rest.
story here. I'm like,
No.
did they pull ET out? How many ETs were in it? I mean, I don't know. Are we at war now with them since we shot down one? I don't know.
yeah, we should probably not shoot it down.
No,
Well,
exactly.
that goes back to the thing. If they showed up light
It was
years,
going to crash anyway.
Well, wait,
Ah!
like they've got light travel, but they can't outrun an AIM-9.
Yeah,
Iron
that-
Man could outrun an AIM-9.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. Literally, if you can cruise at the speed of light, all you'd have to do is just move, and the 9X be like gone.
But you don't have time to calculate the jump to light speed in the
You
Earth's
don't
atmosphere,
have
guys.
time
Come
to
on.
think. If you
Come on.
if you calculate the jump to light speed, you're dead.
You're dead. That's
You gotta hit zone 5 and extend. Everybody knows that.
It's probably an AMRAM, dude. 9Xs.
if they had a paddle switch, they should have used it.
They were shot down by only dudes.
Oh.
Just dudes.
This is, I
Just
mean, but
dudes.
CASMO, this is why I'm like, man,
I got it.
you're not
I
gonna let us
understand.
shoot them down. You know what I'm saying? Like,
What if they're
Right.
trying to spell something to us and we're just
If we
shooting
shoot
down all the
down-
letters?
Right.
Like what if we're missing out on the rest of the words because we just keep shooting down all these letters they keep throwing at us?
dude, I don't know. Yeah, valid.
We can't possibly imagine how they think, so you could be right.
Yeah,
I mean, we tried to talk to the aliens using a helicopter with lights, and that
Lights.
didn't work.
that didn't
That's
work.
right. Well,
Welcome Wagon was a
yeah,
failure.
that's right. That one.
Welcome Wagon was not welcome. So,
I forgot about.
was met with hostility.
yeah, apparently shining.
They just opened the
blinding
window
light-
and shot his ass down.
Apparently, blinding the aliens with 1 billion candle watt spotlights is not a good idea.
Yeah, you're supposed to use music like
You're
like that old movie. Close Encounters of the Third
Close
Kind. or
Encounter
whatever.
of the
Yeah.
Third Kind.
Yeah.
Was that the piano?
Yeah, they had like the big organ player out
the
there with
keyboard.
lights and stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, they had lights too. Maybe that's where they got the idea, and it just didn't work out. Wasn't
Well,
practical.
Don't steal stuff from movies.
Yeah.
It's just I'm saying. Well, that episode was brought to you by the letter C.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe
I
next
have
year
nothing.
we'll get like a A or something.
Yes. Can we land or something?
The aliens are like, we're spending a ton of money on blowing up starships, trying to get our message across to these freaking people. They're so violent.
Does anybody else got an idea?
Yes, yeah. I said,
Sir, there's a message in my alphabet. It says, ooh.
yeah. We got to think of a better, cheaper way to doing this.
What even language is this? It's
Yeah. It's Canadian.
It's my people's symbol for hope. Hope starts with an H, stupid.
We just wasted a ship.
Damn it. Thought it was C. It's a U, damn it. You had it turned wrong.
Oh man,
Oh, great. Great.
Oh, we're
times.
stupid.
we are, dude.
Yeah, this is why we're not the best podcast in the world.
No, we're not. Wait, we're number one on one of two.
No,
right?
somebody in the chat said that we're not as good as the Fighter Pilot podcast.
Fighter Pilot podcast.
Like he's in our chat saying we're not as good.
Yeah, it's rude. You're rude.
Rude.
God, dude, I don't know what to tell you, man. Yeah,
Huh.
so
I'm
be
always
it.
I'm number one in my own mind. Just
Yeah.
ask me. Yeah, thanks. All right,
I'm
moving
agreeing.
on. Plexi says Navy pilot brain injuries. There's a Gonky joke in there somewhere. There's a Mike Tyson joke in there somewhere because the correlation between Mike Tyson and brain injuries
Boxers
and
and-
Gonky.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
I mean,
and you've
that's
never
why.
seen him in the same room.
You by
Gonky
years.
owns a tiger.
I do not own a tiger.
He was very adamant about that. I do
Yeah,
not.
I do not own a tiger.
Stop before you jump to your conclusions.
No more
I do not
buffoonery.
own
Yeah.
a tiger.
Not a cat guy.
Like he was worried, like the law was going to show up. Excuse me.
Well,
we
they
see the
killed a
registration
squirrel,
on
dude.
your-
Of course,
your
they're going to
tiger.
kill this tiger. Rest in peace, Harambe. Thomas says, "Wait, don't we need Walmart for a UFO session?"
Oh boy.
So is Wombat a big UFO guy?
Oh shit.
Uh,
Oh god, I didn't say
it's-
that. We need a Wombat disclaimer.
inside
Wait.
joke, man. He
Oh,
he
okay.
was on the Nimitz when Fravor, like when all that was going down. So flying E2s.
All right.
Not U2s, not UFOs,
No.
U2s don't come
E2s.
off the carriers.
but they do have spinny things on top that look like flying discs, which could be
They do.
mistaken for a UFO.
If you're an idiot, that's right.
The Southwest on short final to Houston is apparently a UFO today too. So yeah. Visar, no. VE5 SAR Hemnetics gives you 5 Canadians. RCAF pixelated the image to hide true imaging capabilities, or our cameras just suck.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll go with that.
Run it through the worst Photoshop filters you have, eh?
That's right.
Don't let those Americans see
Yeah.
Yeah.
True
our cameras are.
capabilities.
how good our cameras that we bought from them are.
CZ Pounder says the craft was meowing on guard. We had to take it down.
Probably the high def photos in the
Why
skip.
didn't I think of this? Thomas says they're trying to spell CASMO.
like they saw you in the desert that night, man.
That's
Yeah,
all right.
dude,
Like,
it's
remember
full
us
circle.
from 24 years ago? We remember
Wow.
you.
Yeah.
We anally probed you, and you don't.
We're
even-
here for you, CASMO. Hey,
dude.
wait a minute. People tend to go and do great things. Perhaps you're the ambassador to whatever Nanu 4969 planet after the show.
I mean, if there's a steady paycheck in it,
You got to commute.
I got to commute. I got
Yeah,
to get jump
you-
seater
you-
privileges. Okay.
You got to commute to whatever planet
uh,
C295.
well, I'll need to know more, but I'm interested. I'm not saying no.
Desire to know more intensifies.
It does. It does.
Would you like to know more?
Good.
Ah, God. Great. Gonzo, that's a cool
Gonzo.
airplane.
That is,
That's
man.
a good
Cub.
looking airplane. Is that a Cub or a
It's J3?
Husky? Yeah.
I think it's a cub. Well, I don't know. Looks like a cub.
Well, he used to say, "Hey, you guys, great show." He's probably going to retract that now. after
Hey,
we
you
leave.
guys.
Would you ever do another DCS tournament? Would we or can we?
I think the answer is
We
like
would.
potentially, right?
But we can't
Why can't you?
because we don't know how.
That's valid.
And we've kind of run out of the people that do it. So we don't know how.
Correct.
And Gonky's wife won't let him.
Yeah, I'm not allowed. So
You're not allowed to play video games.
no.
Oh, no.
In trouble.
No.
Yes.
She would-
Yes.
Thomas also says CASMO Corvette.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Next.
have a Corvette.
Dude, if you had a Corvette, you'd be like that Shaq commercial where you're looking up above the convertible top.
Yeah, it'd be ridiculous.
Take the top out so you can.
Yeah, we were seeing me.
see-
I'm too tall for that.
See
Can't
over
stand
the
that.
windshield. Yes, I've met CASMO in real life. All right,
Tall.
serious matters. Gonky, this is yours again. Remembering heroes.
Yeah, I just thought it's worth bringing up this past weekend. Two important things in history, right? December 7th, 1941, the attack on Pearl Harbor, which I don't know. I think World War II, right? That whole swath of people, the greatest generation. So I think it's just worth mentioning that as in never forgetting it. And then, like, no kidding. It's the 5-year anniversary for here, let me share it, dude. These dudes right here. So I don't know, Mover, CASMO, you remember 5 years ago, right here in Pensacola. I live just outside of Pensacola. These three died. There was a terrorist attack on the base. So Ensign Joshua Caleb and Airman Muhammad Hatham, Heath, man, I can't pronounce his last name, Hytham, and Airman Apprentice Cameron Scott Walters were all killed by a Saudi flight student who was in training here at Pensacola, and he became radicalized and basically shot these guys here who were trying to basically, man, they came at him with no weapons to fight him. So they were awarded Joshua there, the ensign, he was awarded his Navy pilot wings because he was in line to go to flight school. And the other two were there for aircrew, and they got their wings as well. So terrible tragedy. I went to OCS, on that base, where it happened. I know exactly where it happened. I've been in that building. And it just, to me, is tragic that those guys were unarmed, but they still, leaned forward. Right. So eventually the sheriff and base security got there and took care of the attacker. And even I'm pretty sure like one or two of the sheriffs took shots as well. There were some injuries. So, but it's a sad day here in Pensacola, I know. And I just thought it's worth remembering those three guys, because to me they just look like kids, man. But they acted like men. So, my hat's off to them. Mover, what do you think?
God, dude. There's nothing cool about this situation, other than the fact that they risked their lives or gave their lives, to save others. Active shooters are the worst of any situation. Trained foreman law enforcement. We talk about them in the military. The run, hide, fight stuff. And what drives somebody? I mean, did they ever figure out motive or anything for what was going on? What was the specific?
Yeah, he was anti-American.
Just radicalized.
Yeah, so he like the night before he invited. Yeah, it was a terror attack. He invited his buddies over. They watched a whole bunch of anti-American stuff, and yeah.
Well, I mean, none of those three woke up that morning thinking, today's the day. In fact, it was just like every other attack, right? Pearl Harbor, 9/11, whatever. You don't wake up and think today's the day I'm going to do something that may end up costing me my life to save somebody else or just in general. And it shows the character and the fact that, the U.S. government chose correctly by putting them in that place, and they were where they needed to be. It sucks. It sucks to lose them in that way. And I'm glad we can honor them. Cause I honestly, dude, I'm glad you brought it up. Cause it's like every other American, right? You kind of forget about it and you move on with your life because there's so much going on in the news cycle. And, every day is some other tragedy or something else that's going on that takes our mind off of it. So, I mean, good on you for bringing this up, but, I thoughts are with their family. Cause when you lose somebody, that day becomes your own personal remembrance every year. You're going to think of that's the day that I lost so-and-so. So they're probably also thinking about it right now. What do you think, CASMO?
Yeah, I don't even remember that incident. It reminds me of the one on the train in Europe. There was some, I think, Marines or something.
Oh yeah, where they tackled
soldiers. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I don't think they didn't die, but they could have. I mean, it's it's terrible that we live in a world where crap like that happens. And but I guess it's good to know that when the time comes that there's people out there that'll step up, because everyone can talk a big game about what they'll do in that situation. Man, you don't know shit until it happens. You don't know a damn thing about you until it goes down. So
yeah, for sure. All right, anything else on that, Gonky?
No, man. Just
all right. Let's get some stuff from the audience here. Well, then mental health minute after that. Chili, Bluey's mom with the kangaroo, mesmerized by the annual tree erection.
Okay.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Hey, where did you get that tree?
It was given to me.
Arts and crafts.
Arts and crafts. He was working on it all day just for the show.
All day.
It's
Yeah,
like,
dude, this has been a staple in the mover household since at least 2008.
really?
Yeah,
You just didn't have it in the background
it's usually in
last
my
year's
living
show?
room. I usually put the Amazon boxes under it, but
Okay.
Buy some
Last-
self presents.
Yeah.
Says from Santa.
From Santa.
from Amazon, Santa's on, from Santa's on to
Oh boy.
stop bullying me. The Dandelion says, just tell Will Smith the aliens talked about his wife and he will reenact Independence Day. Keep my wife's name out your mouth.
Oh, dude.
That was wild shit.
Could have been at a
that was
barbecue.
wild. That was wild. Yeah. That was bad wild.
He probably should have gone to a barbecue.
He should have. 100%.
Jay Vid Robot Monkey, thank you, Jay, says, hey, dipping in just to donate. Love your show in the Mental Health Minute. Also, what about Fights On with Mover and Gonky as a rebrand title?
Hmm.
All right, Doug.
You blame me for that?
No, he did it. I'm just making fun of him.
Oh, okay. I may be popularized
Are you-
mover, but it wasn't my fault.
Are you trying to rebrand or is this just
We are not trying to rebrand.
okay? This is unsolicited. Gotcha.
Unsolicited
It's an
rebranding.
idea.
Fights
It's an
On
idea.
was the name of the dogfighting show we tried
Yeah.
to do back in 2021.
Has it been that long?
Yeah.
Wow, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something
Trying to
else is called
fundraise in
that.
the middle of COVID. Not a good plan.
I feel like something else was named that too.
What, Fights On?
Yeah.
Some podcast picked it up after and it was short lived.
I think well, maybe
they
it was
actually-
the Fighter Pilot podcast did like a special series about that the
Yeah.
two aircraft that collided and maybe they called it that. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. I don't
I
know.
don't know. I'm not a listener. I do not know.
Hmm.
Crazy Pete C130 FE says flags were at half staff in my town on the 7th
Hmm.
due to
Yep.
That's for
That's
the
Mustang.
incident.
Pearl Harbor. Day that will live in infamy.
Mm-hmm.
John says, greater love has no man than this, that someone lay down his life for his friends. John 15:13. God
Thanks,
bless them
John.
and their family. Yeah. Joe says, well said, mover. Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
Justin says, one. CASMO, did you ever get tanker boots? And if so, would it be possible to fly with them?
Yes and yes.
Did you?
They're leather. I did not.
What are tanker boots?
Tanker boots are
Like stripper boots?
yeah, go-go girl boots. There's different
like a-
types. There's
like a
different types, but they
motorcycle cop.
basically have straps instead of laces.
Oh,
So I'll have
dude,
like a
Velcro
leather
shoes are
strap.
the best.
So you can fly with them?
They're like kangaroos. Well, I mean, if they're all leather,
I
you can. Yeah, you can. I mean, I never did because I mean, you couldn't anyway because they didn't have. They changed. We weren't wearing black boots anymore. But yes, I had tanker boots back in the day. I still have them somewhere.
Do you ever walk around with them?
Oh,
Just
all
wear
the
that?
time. Yeah, just that.
For your
Boots.
Only Guys channel?
Yeah, for the just
For your-
dudes.
the deployed dudes channel.
Justdudes.com. Hey, look, you're
That'll
going.
work.
You guys are getting all these tips and stuff. I don't get anything on my show. Nobody does tips on my show, so I gotta make ends meet. Okay, this is not a cheap house I moved into. I gotta fix things. So
When do we
if
get the
dudes
house
deployed-
tour?
well, next time you're here,
We need to have like
this is my basement.
first episode of Cribs at Casmos.
Yeah, welcome to my crib. And you gotta do like that fast. Yeah,
Gotta go rent a couple cars, man.
and I'll wear my boots for you.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, number 2.
Dose.
What personal clothes?
Hey,
Sorry. I overstepped my bounds.
what personal clothes / gear can y'all wear while flying?
I don't know. Like, that's a broad question. What personal clothes gear? There you go. There's some tanker boots. That's actually the kind I have. Old school. That's old school right there.
Are they steel
It's
toe?
late 90s.
Are they steel toe?
Not the ones I have, and there may be some steel toe ones.
Huh.
So I don't know the backstory of them. Supposedly is that they're easier to get off, like if there's like a fire or something. That's what I was always told. I don't know that makes any sense. But what personal clothes gear? I mean, I guess I don't know, like anything. I don't know. That's a weird question. I don't know how to answer it.
I always carried a.
We don't judge questions.
You don't kink shame. I forgot. Yeah, me either.
Well, I mean, at least Air Force is the same way, right? You got your special colored shirt for your squadron, right? Your foot.
Party
Really?
shirts.
Okay, yeah. Well, we had to wear a certain color undershirt, right? Flight suits got to be, I guess, a certain shade of green or tan, depending on where you're at. The boots and the Navy, a lot of us wore Red Wings, even though you weren't supposed to. And then the other people's wore Belleville boots.
That was me. I was cheap, dude. I just took whatever they gave me.
They look horrible.
Yes.
Don't care. Not spending money on boots. Yeah.
I bought Red Wings. The only thing extra I carried was I carried a flame-proof like blowtorch, like a lighter, because one of the things I learned in survival school was I really don't like to be cold. So I wanted to be able to light everything on fire around me to stay warm. And an extra couple mags if I was in combat.
Well, my buddy Frank, who died in midair a couple days ago, like June, what was it, December 6th? No, December 4th, several years ago. But anyway, when we were in Iraq, he would wear this like man dress thing, and he would have it all bunched up around his neck. So he looked like he was he was wearing like a tablecloth from Pizza Hut or something. But it was a man dress. And so we were like, Frank, why are you always wearing this thing? He's like, well, if I get shot down, I could just drop it and then blend into the population. And one day I was like, Frank, what about your co-pilot? What about the guy's flying with you? He goes, oh, he's my prisoner.
Oh, dude. Whatever you got to do to make it feel safer.
That's it. That's right.
Yeah. I carried so many mags, I gave myself back problems. I'm like, I'm not going down without a gunfight. And then, midway through, I'm like, oh my God, my back hurts. Why?
Yeah, we carried a lot of ammo.
Yeah. But I was up in the bozosphere.
Yeah. 20s.
Yeah.
20s.
Yeah, lower than that sometimes.
Same.
Thomas says nickel on the grass. Thank you,
Thanks, Thomas.
All right. Time for mental health minute. This is going to be a tricky one because no one knows what I mean.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Don't hit the brakes over the bridge. Bear with me. I'll get there, I hope. If not, just
buckle up.
Just make your own mental health minute, if you will. So, as I drilled this weekend, I was talking to the chaplains because they're great people. I mean, honestly, if you want to go talk to somebody, mental health counselors are great, but chaplains are good to talk to too. And you don't have to be religious or anything. You just go talk to them and they'll talk to you. I mean, they'll just listen to you. And we were just talking about traffic, and a certain area by where I live, they just did some construction to fix a previous issue, which was there was a bridge on the interstate and a lot of wrecks were happening because people would go over this crowning bridge and hit the brakes because they thought it went nowhere. Like the world ended on the other side of this bridge, and they hit their brakes. It would back up traffic. People would run into them, and you're just like, whatever. And that's a very common thing in Louisiana because we have a lot of bridges that have to go over waterways, and people just get on this side of the bridge and freak out because what's on the other side? I don't know. I'm going to hit the brakes because I'm scared. Really, you should just leave your cruise control on because it'll adapt and you can just, maintain your speed limit or whatever. The analogy here is that life is this bridge, right? Sometimes we always talk about what happens when things are going wrong, when you're in the bad part of whatever's going through in life, but we don't talk about getting to the other side. And sometimes the temptation when things are kind of clearing or things are getting a little better is to pump the brakes because you've just spent your whole, whatever, 2 years, year, whatever it is, whatever's been going on, 2 years for some of us, you feel like you've been such a kicked dog that you get to the other side and you don't trust anything that you think, anything that you know, because, well, it didn't work out for the last 2 years and you don't know what's on the other side, and you pump the brakes and maybe make things worse or miss out on opportunities that otherwise would have been available. So in the sense of the safety officer that used to say, drive fast, take chances, sometimes you just got to floor it, get to the other side, and have a little faith that the system will work in your favor, that you will find happiness on the other side and not hit the brakes and lose the progress you made because you just spent all that time trying to get through the bad stuff. Don't hit the brakes when you're finally through it. Just keep going. So that's my pitch. Do what you need to do to keep moving forward and not become a hindrance to your own success. 988 is a good number if you feel like you need to talk to somebody, if you're feeling like it's, you're going to make a permanent answer to a temporary problem. 911 also, somebody will be there to come talk to you and get you the help you need, or call a buddy. Gonky, what do you think about this
Tough
topic?
one. No, it's actually good, man. As a Christian, basically don't hit the brakes as you're coming over the bridge is, in my mind, it's 100%. You got to have faith, right? So faith is taking action when you can't have physical proof of something, right? I mean, and just like people coming over the top of a bridge, hitting the brakes in anticipation of something good or bad, right? They don't know. They want to slow down. I guess is a lack of faith that the Department of Transportation would put like a sharp turn, like right at the top of this thing, right? And no guardrail. So,
Right.
And kind of like in life, we've talked about it before. A lot of times, you can worry yourself, think of every scenario that can go wrong, and that's actually not usually what happens, right? So, when I think about this, man, it's you gotta have faith in something. For me, I'm a Christian, so I believe in God, and a lot of times, Mover, you call me a golden retriever, but I go through life leaning pretty hard on just having faith that it's going to be okay on the other side of this bridge, because you got two ways to live, man. You can be scared all the time, and I'm not saying that brakes are bad, but you have to have something that keeps you going when you can't see the whole picture, right? So that's my plug for for religion, Christianity. You have to have faith, man. What do you think, CASMO?
Just got to roll with the punches. I guess that's really what it is, right? I mean, to your point, like, it's easy to get hung up on this certain thing has to happen, and that's happiness. And then that thing doesn't happen. You got to find happiness in whatever new thing comes from it, because it may be good. It may be better. Whatever transpires after this change that you weren't expecting or didn't want to happen. I've had that happen to me. Things happen in my career or whatever that I'm like, oh man, this is the worst, and then it causes me to make a change. I'm like, man, I'm actually pretty happy about this. So.
Doug,
you guys are getting so good at this, you don't have to include me anymore. You really covered that one.
No, we do.
No, I like, Mover, your tendency to come up with these analogies, or is it a metaphor? I don't remember.
Probably a metaphor.
The parable.
Either way, putting stuff like that into language people can understand is a talent. The only thing I'm going to add is when you and I think we might have been talking about this earlier, Mover, without me realizing it. And I think it's important to remember other bridges that you've crossed when you're on the bridge. It's like, I did this. I've had success before. I'll probably have another success. Last time I crossed this bridge, I got to the end, that kind of thing, just to extend the analogy a little bit.
Yeah. It's actually, this is almost a bonus mental health minute, because what we were talking about is pretty appropriate. I was editing the video for tomorrow, which, by the way, check it out on the channel. And I was going through some old footage I hadn't watched in a while when I went to Daytona and ARCA. and did the Daytona test, and was looking back and like, man, it would have been cool to be able to go race and all that stuff. But that time in my life was rough. I mean, that was 2023. Things were not great. And I look back at that, and then I looked at some other footage because I was trying to put together some stuff to make a point. And I pulled the footage from that, and I pulled a couple months later, Doug, you and I went to Daytona again and raced with Battle Scarred Motorsports, which was awesome. Yep. And one of the things that struck me as I'm watching this is, number one, I'm sad that I didn't, I'm not going to go get to race Daytona next year. But the lesson was, I look back at that and I was like, man, I remember 2023 and 2022 as being really bad years. But then I look at that, I'm like, actually some good stuff happened. Good things actually happened when I was in the midst of the worst. And it's like, well, so do good things actually happen while bad things are happening? Yes. When you are going through rough times, it's not all bad. It's not binary. It's a lot of gray area. It may be, this one area of your life is going bad and you put a lot of importance on it. But if you step back, you still got some other things. We've talked about that with perspective and gratitude. And hey, yes, this part's not where I want it to be. But if you look at the other stuff, because what did it prevent me from doing? Enjoying the moment. It took me till now to look back at the footage and go, man, that was a lot of fun. I can't believe I had any doubts or anxiety or whatever about doing that thing or continuing to do that thing, because now I look back and go, man, I wish I could do it again. It was so much fun. So I think there's a little bit in that, having that faith that you are trust in yourself and trust in the process, that you will get through it. You'll end up on the other side and it's going to be okay. And you'll look back at the aspects of it that you enjoyed, because you need to enjoy the ride.
Yep. Yeah, dude.
That's it.
I can't.
Okay.
I can't.
All right. See what the audience says.
Remarks complete.
Yeah. Nothing further.
I agree. Yeah.
Thomas says, keep up your momentum. Did we already cover that one? Crazy Pete says, bridge freezes before road. Mike Tyson.
Yeah. Only in Ohio.
And Mike. Colin says, I understand not hitting the brakes, but I think using a bit of caution going forward and looking both ways will help avoid getting sideswiped. It's an interstate, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just keep going. Just keep going. Don't be that guy that hits the brakes, because these people, like I see the brake lights. I'm like, why? It's like the people that put their hats. Now we're just ranting about traffic.
Colin's the guy. Colin's the guy.
Don't
that's
put
right.
your hazards on when it's raining. That's illegal. And it's a good way to identify yourself as an idiot to the rest of the world.
Is it really illegal?
Yeah, I was thinking it. Is it really illegal?
It is illegal, at least the state of Louisiana. A lot of states are like that. Maybe Alabama might be the only one that's not.
So you can't warn people behind you. They're like, holy cow.
That it's raining.
That it's raining?
They can see.
No.
Are you that idiot, Gonky? Are you the one that rides
You're the
around
guy.
No, like, listen, a lot of times you'll be driving, the rain starts dumping, and all of a sudden everybody hits their brakes, traffic almost stops, and you're like, I don't want to get rear-ended. Right? Because
That's why you have brake lights.
Yeah, I know. Well,
So here's the problem. Here's why it is not. Hazards are, in your case, it's kind of a tweener, because hazards are to identify when you're slow moving in the path of traffic, right? Slow moving, like near to a stop, not just it's raining. But the reason it's dangerous to use the hazards is because a lot of modern cars, when your hazards are on, it's wiping out your brake lights. So all you're seeing is flashing red, and you can't tell when the brakes are actually being activated. But it is, if you're such a hazard that you need to have your hazards on, you should not be in the roadway. You should be off on the underneath a bridge somewhere.
See, I usually will flash them. Like, once I stop, like, I don't want to hit me, I'll flash them, and then I'll turn them off.
That's fine. More of the people that ride around, it's raining, and you're like, why are your hazards on, dude? Like, we're doing 50 miles an hour. It's raining. Okay, thanks.
It's raining.
Hey, over here, it's raining.
It's raining in my lane. Is it raining in your lane? It's raining in my lane.
Well, and so Aaron brings up a good point. Mover says floor it, brakes are for sissies. How did Tom Cruise get through Days of Thunder?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He
There's
grabbed another gear, man, and put the hammer down.
Yeah. So grab another gear, put the hammer down. Just
What a
saying.
great movie.
It is a great movie. They're
What a
making
great
a
movie.
sequel.
Oh no, don't.
What do you
Wait, does
mean,
that
don't tell me that.
does it have Tom Cruise in it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, then
He
it'll
can
be
only
alright.
use a 4th generation race car.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's- and it's a special track.
GPS
It can only
jamming.
go right turns. Yeah, it's only
Right turns.
not left
Staggered
turns.
match
That's-
special.
yeah.
His tires are staggered match special.
I love it.
What in tarnation? Something I try to remind myself is that everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, then it's just not over yet. Oh.
Yeah. Perspective.
Colin, don't regret saying anything. We're just all in good fun. But also don't slow down if you don't need to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't be
There's
a
a time, there's definitely a time and a place to stop,
Yeah.
slow down, stop.
Yeah. And that's it. That's all I got. It's the whole show.
That's it.
Hidden
That's the
Force
show.
says, grab another gear, put the hammer down, Mike Tyson.
That is a good one. I like that one.
So what's next? What are we doing? Oh, we got the Hurricane Hunter next week.
I thought you said 2 weeks.
No, I said 1 week.
Okay.
It's Christmas Day. He's going to be there.
Wait a minute.
Be
Wait.
available.
Wait a minute. You didn't schedule me for a show on Christmas, did you?
Do we have a show on Christmas? Is Christmas on a
Mover
Monday?
doesn't.
Oh,
I don't know.
That would
dude,
be
you know
great.
what? It's BJ's birthday, right? Is that now?
What?
I told you. Remember, I told you I was going to say something.
Oh.
No, that's
I
next
don't
week. That's next Monday. That's next Monday. Remember they
BJ
said-
checked in earlier but couldn't stay.
Oh, yeah. Christmas is on a Wednesday this
Okay.
year.
No problem.
I'll be working. Doesn't matter.
Where are you going?
Who knows?
Everywhere.
Could be anywhere. Could
We
be
never
nowhere.
know. We never know until that day.
Are you still doing the gaming, sir?
Yeah. Do you want to do something?
Yes.
All right.
Do you do
do you want?
Microsoft's Flight Sims?
I haven't gotten the new one. No.
Do you want to? I got a key.
Oh yeah. Well then,
Got a
yes.
whole bunch of keys.
What kind? I need to see what kind of planes they have on there.
Helicopters, you mean?
They got helicopters too. Oh my.
They got an H-225. They got the Cabrini G2, Cabri G2. I know you'd love to fly that little thing.
I told you if you started, I can fly it.
Bell 407.
Oh, that's my jam.
Yeah, the 407, and they have Airwolf in it, but you got to buy it. It was on sale for $12 the other day. I bought it.
Of course you bought it, dude.
Well, it's a Bell 222, but they have one that's got the Airwolf like
Right.
nose cone and the like a paint job that looks like Airwolf. I haven't flown it yet. I've been.
That aircraft crashed. That actual.
They all did.
The actual Airwolf.
Yeah.
Did you see our show with La Rosa's shows? We had Airwolf on the Airwolf
Yeah.
pilot on the show.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
really? I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he went on to do great things.
Yes.
For the Hawk.
Well, no, he's just Kevin La Rosa. So he's a
Senior flew the
senior. Yeah.
good episode.
And that's it. That's our show. We have nothing further to say. I'm sorry for anyone that we've insulted or angered,
I'm not.
Including Canada. Mover.
including Canada. Sorry, Colin, if I offended you. I apologize.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
And that's it. Doug, you got anything else for the kids at home?
Negative.
CASMO,
Oh,
you got
hey.
anything else? Oh,
Sorry.
Gonky has something
They're
else.
eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're
That's all I
eating
have to
the
say.
cats. They're eating the
Demonetized.
pets of the people that live there.
That's all I wanted to say.
Oh,
That's
now
in
I gotta
Ohio.
get
No, I was gonna say if you guys watch air crew interviews, my the interview I did with Mike is out. So Mover.
How'd that go? I was trying to like
Good.
last
He's like
minute.
frozen.
He's like, I was like,
Fine.
wait, is Mover frozen or
No, those days are behind us.
Okay. Okay. Oh,
Those
boy.
days are behind. Happy days
Oh,
are here
boy.
to stay.
This is a
Those
brand
days
new
are-
world.
Oh,
Unless I'm in a hotel.
This is season 3.
I have transferred those powers to Doug.
Oh boy.
yes.
All right. Well, obligatory C-130 picture and good night, everybody.
Good night.